Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wingcat Sports. It's a weekly Red Wing rumor mill that we go through. Not as much has been happening since free agency kind of died down and ended, and not as much signings happening going on right now. But there's a couple things going around. First off, we'll start with the trade stuff because everyone knows that we've been trying to get Trouba, and it more or less came out that the Rangers kind of blew it with the story getting out before the trade happened, and hence why the Red Wings got put on the no trade list.
Yeah, damn you, Rangers. Although maybe we should thank you. I mean, I don't know. Certainly he would have added a physical presence to our game. I kind of like that. Um, but yeah, sounded like they dropped the ball on this one. So who knows? Maybe we. I still hear that Stevie Y. The rumor is he still has one more deal left in him. We'll see if that happens.
I don't think it
I know
will.
he needs to. I don't know where is he at on the signing our own guys front.
I haven't heard anything on that front either on what's going on with Sider and Raymond for the most part is what we care about. Berggren and Milano or whatever. We call someone else up that's younger. With Berggren, we get Berggren. But for the most part, our cap space isn't that much. If everybody gets the money they're predicted to get, right? If both Sider and Raymond get $8 million contracts, there's about $3 million left to play with between Berggren and Villano. Villano applying for arbitration. So they're going to have to go into talks with him more on exactly what the deal's worth. But
yeah, I'm not sure we're going to see much until all these contracts are.
Yes, we got to wait to see what the contracts are.
Then maybe they can make
and then moves from there. Like, because magically, maybe Raymond and Sider agree for less money than we all think they're going to sign for, and now we have a little bit more cap space, and who knows? But I think we all are planning at least between 16 and 17, or really 16 to 18 million in between Raymond and Sider, depending on what they exactly get. And then basically Berggren and Villano get the scraps or whatever's left of the cap space.
Right. Well, it looks like Trouba's going to play with the Rangers this year.
Yes, Trouba's probably going to end up playing with the Rangers, though he still has to give them a 15-team no trade list. Figure the Red Wings are on there because they dropped the ball. That's what most people assume. Obviously, maybe not. And things are just had to get figured out more between him and his wife with the residency that she has going on in New York, and then with them having the kid. It's a lot going around with Trouba, and if he even gets traded next year or this year, we'll see. It's more likely he gets traded next year than this year, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it might be a blessing in disguise. Who knows?
Maybe. I mean, you got your young defensemen that are going to be up. You're going to have Evanson playing. You're going to have
said that Pekapupula or whatever his name is,
Simon Palikia.
Sanda Palikia. They say he is really looking good.
I don't know if he'll be up though.
Maybe not this year.
Because you're going to have Johansson on the team potentially, but he did sign a 2-way contract, so he might not be on the team. But Evanson's going to be on the team next year. You trade away Wallman. Somehow you still have Petrie and Hall on your team. Somehow you haven't gotten rid of them, but
right.
Bite the bullet on that. Hall is probably the worst deal that Eisman has done.
Right. They're going to bite the bullet.
So there's not much they can do. At least this is Petrie's last year, so you don't have to deal with him next year. But you're going to probably have Petrie with Sherratt because they play well together. And then outside of that, you're going to see how things go. You still got Mata, a very capable defenseman. Sider will be on the team next year. Evanson will be on the team next year.
I think having Evanson for a full season is going to make us that much stronger. Like I said, you saw some of the lineup things. I would. I mean, I guess you can't put Sider and Edmondson together. Maybe you could. I don't know.
Well, I mean, they got the lineup predictions from M Live on here. I know we talked about the other week. But their first line offensively, they're thinking it's going to be Raymond, Larkin, and Tarasenko, which is just a very small but fast line. Right. Ain't too much aggression between the three of them.
Larkin's not small. And
He's not
small.
Yeah, but they don't. Larkin
it's a lot bigger than our second line if that's our first.
Our second line is DePrinket, Comfort, and Patrick Kane.
So 2 Munchkins along with Comfort.
Then you got Rasmussen, Kopp, and Berggren on the third line, which isn't too terrible. And then Villano, Mott, and Fisher, which is just that's your tough line right there.
That's a good tough line.
Between Mott and Fisher, Villano, we've only seen him be in one fight, and luckily we were at that game. He only has one career fight. Did you know that?
Who?
Villano. We were
Well,
and
all
we
right,
were at that game.
all right. Way to go,
but
Milano.
but that
Uh,
that that's your predicted fourth line, which honestly I wouldn't be too bad with that. I think
no, I think they want to keep the Brink team together.
your top two lines look pretty good, and your third line is going to be decent between Rasmussen and Berggren, and maybe they can bring something out of Cop. Two young guys to Cop.
Yeah.
Let's see what ends up happening with that, and then you just gotta basically a line that's probably going to get you about 5 points in the whole year with that last line.
Well, I don't know. Fisher's pretty good.
Though, yes, Fisher didn't do bad last year. He had 19 points, so let me at least give them that. Maybe they'll have like 30 points in total on the line if that is your fourth line. Um, when it comes to your winger, well, your defenseman, once I can scroll down to it, because all they like to do is talk. Well, they didn't even give you a defenseman. What the hell? I don't like that. They didn't even give
Well, right. I think you should keep Petrie and Sherrod together.
Petrie and Sherratt. I would put together,
Yeah,
because why not? Then you're probably I would put Evanson and Sider together, even though I think they're the same hand, so that wouldn't line up
I think
well.
Evans is not as offensive.
And then that leaves Mata with whoever else they feel like playing, probably
Gustafson.
Hall and Gustafson. Yeah, we got Gustafson. You got the new guy.
Gustafson's going to be out. So
You got
yeah, that is not a bad. I mean, it's not great, but I mean, depending upon Evanson, if he can learn to play with Cider, I don't think that's
that
too
that
awful.
or I regardless, I think Petrie and Sherratt will play together, and then if anything, you're just gonna swap Evanson and Gustafson
Sure.
around, and that's what's gonna happen. Otherwise, like there ain't that much else going on. Personally, I mean, there's been the rumors that maybe Danielson can make the team this year. I don't think he will. Right? Keep him in the minors, keep him working. You got Casper still working out down there. You'll have
They're very
Danielson.
excited.
You have a lot of young, fast players that you are developing right now. And if they all pan out, which usually that doesn't happen, but we're high on Casper, and then he played for a little bit 1 year, and then he didn't play last year, or this year. Now going into next year, I still wouldn't expect him to come up, honestly, because I think they just wanted to see how well he would play at the end of the year when it didn't matter. If we somehow suck, he might be up just to see how well he plays. But besides that, if we play like we did last year, don't expect any of the young guys that are developing up. I mean, we had guys that we were high on that we didn't even think uh, of last year. We got like Soderblom, who just, Soderblom, who just vanished.
Right? Awful way.
He
We
just
don't even talk about him.
We don't even talk. There hasn't been
We
any
don't
talk.
even
We have this
discuss.
giant 6'8" winger.
We had
and,
what was that? The Redwood line or whatever it was.
and he just no one talked about because we had Oscar Sundquist too, I think.
Yeah,
So
we had the big line back there, and
now all of a sudden you don't even know. I
where
don't even
is
know if
he?
he's still
Where's Soderblom
probably
at?
still in Grand Rapids doing absolutely nothing.
Probably in a gulag in Siberia or something. Probably tried to get to Russia.
Elmer Soderblom. Let's
Yeah, what do they say about him? What's he doing?
hold on,
Is he even in Grand Rapids?
let's get some stats on him real quick since we mentioned him. Bringing him up.
Elmer Soderblom. Did he play last year?
Well,
Somewhere?
well, I don't have stats from.
No!
I need the all leagues.
Unprepared on the Elmer side.
Well, we just brought it up. Let's see if he was even on the team last year. He was in Grand Rapids last year.
He was.
So
What was his stats?
I wish they would have told me his stats because I was about to be getting on him.
Stats suck. That's why they're not done.
I mean, Soderblom, he was someone we were all thinking about, and then all of a sudden, bye bye.
Right. I mean, it was funny how you just not even mention. So, I mean, is he that bad?
That's what I said. I don't like he literally kind of just vanished off the face of the earth. And I'm trying to see if they can give me any stats on him, but I'm not getting anything.
Huh.
Because obviously he didn't have enough to really give anything, I guess. But Soderblom overall, like he was somebody who were like, oh, it's a big guy. We're ready to have him. I went to the clearance sale at LCA and they had a jersey that they were selling for him. Like, The
It's
you have prospects that kind of just fall off the face of the earth. He played 61 games last year, 13 goals, 16 assists, 29 points.
how many goals?
13
Well, I mean, I don't know that
through 61 games. So not fantastic. Like he is somebody who kind of fell off the face.
not
Like,
from what we expect. He doesn't throw his weight around. He doesn't play physical, so there's
well,
pointless to put him on the third or fourth line. To me, if you're not gonna, if you're a scorer, then that's
when
one
we
thing.
called him up, he scored 5 goals and had 3 assists through 21 games, which he had the same amount in the same amount of games in the AHL. His stats are pretty even between the AHL and NHL that first time we had him up. And then outside of that, like last year, again, you didn't even call him up. So I mean, I guess he wouldn't be out of it, right?
Oh, how old
He
is he?
he is 23. So
Oh, that's yeah.
he is 6 feet 246. 6'8", 246.
If you're not 23 years old, you're not contributing by then. I don't see him being.
So if something happens this year in his development, might be able to, because I know Casper, not even that much of Casper last year was being talked about. We know he's down there, but we haven't heard as much on Casper as we usually do.
So what's with
And
Casper and Mazur? Are they either one of them look like potential players this year for the Wings?
I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't call him up.
But Danielson's getting a lot of talk.
And I wouldn't call him up. You are not going to bring up these guys unless they are absolutely killing the AHL, like a plus 1 point per game in the AHL. Like they're getting goals and assists very, very often in the AHL. Then they might get called up. If they're blowing the AHL away, then they might be considered. But if you're not blowing the AHL away, I would not call them up. Right? You're gonna have your team, unless the chemistry's weird or you're
Well,
struggling, they would not be up next year. I don't care
well,
what
that's one
anybody
of your
says.
three, like Cop, maybe if you're trying to trade him. But I don't know anyone.
Or
who
yeah,
can
or a
trade.
trade. Like, but there's not much to really worry about when it comes to your prospects and who might be playing on the team. Because if they're still developing, you might give a couple games here or there to fill in for an injury. But besides that, they're not going to be fully on the team next year, in my opinion. But really, that's all we got, right? Between our prospects potentially coming up and a Trouba trade. Really, that's all we got this week. It's a slow week for the Red Wings. Eiserman may be making a move, though I
So
don't think it's going to
let's get
happen.
these guys signed so we can talk about something.
Yes, we want them signed too.
Come on, Stevie.
With all that being said, though, if you like to see, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think about the prospects. Do you think any of them are going to be coming up? And always remember, right? See everybody soon.